Good morning. This should be another quick one, relatively speaking. There's only a little bit here that I understand, but there's some really good cross-references to Daniel in Revelation chapter 13. I don't understand all the prophecies that are spoken of in this chapter. I think it's important to see this chapter, and then we're going to look at the next chapter, which is the fall of Babylon. Then we're going to see Christ return in the clouds on his throne with a sickle and getting ready for the wrath of God. So John has this vision starting in chapter 13. And I stood upon the sand of the sea and saw a beast rise up out of the sea, having 7 heads and 10 horns, and upon his horns 10 crowns, and upon his heads the name of blasphemy. Right? So this is not a good beast. And the beast which I saw was like unto a leopard, and his feet were like as the feet of a bear, and his mouth as the mouth of a lion. And the dragon gave him his power and his seat and his great authority. So where do you see those 3 beasts? If you go back to Daniel chapter 7, right, in the first few verses of Daniel chapter 7, Daniel in verse, let's just look at verse 1. We're going to look at a few verses. In the first year of Belshazzar, king of Babylon, Daniel had a dream and visions of his head upon his bed. Then he wrote the dream and told the sum of the matters. Daniel spake and said, I saw in my vision by night, and behold, the 4 winds of the heaven strove upon the great sea. And 4 great beasts came up from the sea, diverse one from another. The first was like a lion, right? So this one here is we have the leopard, and had eagle's wings. I beheld till the wings thereof were plucked, and it was lifted up from the earth and made stand upon the feet as a man, and a man's heart was given it. And behold, another beast, a second like to a bear, and it raised up itself on one side, and had 3 ribs in his mouth of it between the teeth of it. And they said thus unto it, Arise, devour much flesh, which you're going to see that in Jeremiah chapter 50, that same bear, which a lot of people feel is Gog and Magog, which is Russia, the bear. And at the end times, right, it'll have three ribs in its mouth, in its teeth. Take 3 countries back. After this I beheld, and another like a leopard, which had upon the back of it 4 wings of a fowl. The beast had also 4 heads, and dominion was given to it. And after this I saw in the night visions, and behold, a 4th beast, dreadful and terrible, and strong exceedingly, and it had great iron teeth. It devoured and brake in pieces, and stamped the residue with the feet of it. And it was diverse from all the beasts that were before it, and it had 10 horns. So let's go back to John, right? So John's getting a similar vision. We have the 7 head and 10 horns. Upon the horns, 10 crowns, and these all have the name of blasphemy. And the beast which I saw was like unto a leopard, and his feet were as the feet of a bear, and his mouth as the mouth of a lion. And the dragon gave him his power and his seat and his great authority. So if you go look up online, you can find this beast was created by a couple artists from Mexico. Watchman's Cry, I think his name is Lyle. He has a great article on this. And you can see this beast, which is the body of a leopard. It has the feet of a bear, and it has the mouth of a lion, and it has wings. And the artist calls it Peace and Safety. It started out in front of Rockefeller Center of New York this last December. Again, it was called Peace and Safety. They had a bunch of skulls there, and they also had a dragon there on the other side. Those were their artwork. Was presented to the United States at the Rockefeller Center, and then it was moved in front of the UN in New York this last December. So we see that image, that imagery being created today. And the dragon gave him his power, verse 2 again, and his seat and his great authority. Remember when we looked at Sardis, that they knew where the seat of Satan was in Revelations chapter 3. That's the seat of power. Chapter 2, right? Revelation. Let me go look at that real quick. Right, it's a seat of power. 2:13, Pergamos. 2:30. And I know thy works and where thou dwellest, even where Satan's seat is, and thou holdest fast my name and hast not denied my faith, even in those days wherein Antipas was my faithful martyr, who was slain among you, where Satan dwelleth. So that same, where his seat and his power is over there in the Middle East. And to try to find that seat, I tell you, if someone can find that, I'd love to see what you have. Where is that? Pergamos, where is that? And where is the seat of power? And how is that tied in today with the World Economic Forum and the IMF and Chrislam and the New World religions? And I think you'll have a key to where things will be coming out of for Satan. Verse 3, and I saw one of the heads, as it were, wounded to death, and his deadly wound was healed, and all the world wondered after the beast. Now, if you look over in verse 14, you can see that the wound was caused by a sword, right at the end of verse 14 of this same chapter, but we'll get there. But we see that this beast has a deadly wound in his head by a sword, and it's healed. And all the world wondered after the beast, right? So this beast is going to be wounded by a sword, killed, deadly wound, healed. And the whole world's going to worship after this beast now. And they worship the dragon, which gave power unto the beast. So another image, right? So just like I said, at Rockefeller Center and then the UN, you had the beast and then you had the dragon. There was two different pieces of artwork that were created by a couple of satanic devil worshippers down in Mexico. And I'm not trying to call them names. They are pagans, and they believe in worshiping the dead. And it's satanic. It's satanic. And they created satanic images of things that are soon to come pass. So verse 4, and they worship the dragon, which gave power unto the beast, and they worship the beast, saying, who is like unto the beast, who is able to make war with him? And there was given unto him a mouth speaking great things and blasphemies, and power was given unto him to continue 42 months. So we do know at this point, when this happens, the beast is given 42 months, right? 3.5 years. And that's where a lot of people say the first half of the tribulation and then the second half of the tribulation. And why do I believe that believers will be here? Again, this is going to show you right here, another proof that there is no pre-tribulation rapture is right here, that we are here for this. We will witness this as believers. And you see it over in Thessalonians where Paul says that the wicked shall be revealed. We see that. But anyway, but he's given 42 months, 3.5 years. And he opened his mouth and blasphemed against God, to blaspheme his name and his tabernacle and them that dwell in heaven. And it was given unto him to make war with the saints and to overcome them. And power was given him over all kindreds and tongues and nations. It's not the Jewish people there, folks, right? That's the saints. It can include the Jewish people, but these are the saints. We saw the saints under the altar for the fifth seal. And here we see the devils making war with the saints. To further back that up, hopefully you kept your finger in Daniel. Now let's go over to Daniel chapter 7. And look at chapter 7, verse 20. And of the 10 horns that were in his head, and of the other which came up, and before whom 3 fell, even of that horn that had eyes, and a mouth that spake very great things, whose look was more stout than his fellows. I beheld, this is Daniel saying this, I beheld, and the same horn, that leader, made war with the saints and prevailed against them. Wow. Same exact wording. God's awesome. When he reveals things to the saints, it doesn't matter if it's Old Testament or New Testament. God is true from beginning to end, and let man be a liar. Satan's a liar from the beginning. He tries to get you to doubt God's word. That's what he did with Adam and Eve. Yea, did God say. And he did that with Jesus. Can't you change these rocks into bread? And, can't you throw yourself off this cliff? And Jesus just rebuked Satan. Satan he's always looking for one avenue to make God a liar, just like himself. So verse 21 in Daniel chapter 7, I beheld, and the same horn made war with the saints and prevailed against him, until the Ancient of Days, capital A, if you have your King James Bible, the pure word of God, until the Ancient of Days came, and judgment was given to the saints of the Most High. And the time came that the saints possessed the kingdom. So after this, there's coming a time when the Ancients of Days come and judgment's giving. Well, where do we see that? We see that over in Revelation chapter 14, for the Ancient of Days, which is Jesus Christ. And then it goes on to say how bad the fourth beast is and this last beast and the different kingdoms. So if you want to see, Daniel 7, chapter 7 through 12, you're going to see the different prophecies being tied in here in Revelation. So let's go back to chapter 13 and verse 7. So we know that Antichrist, this beast that is wounded unto death by a sword, he's able to make war with the saints and overcome them. That is what's going to happen. He's going to have 42 months to perform his work upon the earth. And power was given unto him over all kindreds and tongues and nations. So all the nations are going to bow down to this one ruler. And again, remember I said, I'm not saying that President Trump, because I know people love him and they worship him. I think it's it's ironic on Fox that his platform is being called the second coming of Trump. That is what he's running on, the second coming of Trump. William Barr, in his book, who is his chief of staff, told President Trump to his face that if he's not careful, someone is going to take a sword to his head and kill him. Those are good examples, potentially, of someone to watch. A leader to watch. Don't get tied up with those that are tied in with Davos. They all kiss the ring. They're all Freemasons. They're all satanic. They've all kissed the ring of Klaus Schwab and the Antichrist. And it doesn't matter if it's Zelensky or Putin or Xi Jinping or Kim over in Korea or President Trump or President Biden or President Obama or Clinton or Bush. All these leaders, Macron, Trudeau, Boris Johnson, go look up the World Economic Forum and go look at the thousands of corporations that you do business with that answer to Davos and the World Economic Forum and Klaus Schwab. And look at his right-hand man who says that you have no soul and he's going to turn you into a machine. You have to have your eyes open to understand that the time we're in. Because all the nations are going to bow before this beast. Verse 8, and all that dwell upon the earth shall worship him, whose names are not written in the book of life of the Lamb slain from the foundation of the world. Somehow, and this is the only verse that gives me comfort, that believers, those that are truly born again, will not worship the beast and will not take the mark of the beast, is somehow because of this verse right here. This verse implies that if you're saved, if you're born again, that you will receive power to resist the mark of the beast. Verse 9, if any man have an ear, let him hear. So this is talking about war. This chapter is talking about war. This is Satan and the beast making war with the saints. Now look at this next verse, and I think it's very important, very pertinent to today. He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword. Here is the patience and the faith of the saints. Now, and then it's going to go on. We're going to look at something else. You have two options. I've said this before. I'm going to say it again. To those that are saved, to those that are born again, and you're going to have one of two options coming. And it's very important that you speak to your spouse about this. And to those that are going to be in your home in these coming trying times. You can live by the sword, right? Peter said, hey, here's a sword. And Christ said, that's enough. Or here's two, that's enough. He didn't say get rid of your sword. He didn't say this isn't a time to beat your swords into plowshares. That's coming later. And we're not commanded to take our plowshares and turn them into swords. But there are that are going to lead into captivity. Again, I've talked about a brother that I know that I asked about this, and he said, look, I'm just going to go to the FEMA camp. And I'm going to be there with my children, and I'm going to step front in line with the guillotine, and I'm going to show them the power of Christ and have my head chopped off. And he's going to the FEMA camp. And he's going to lead people. He is a leader of men in his family. He's a very, very, very powerful speaker. And he's going to lead those around him to lay down their life. They have their heads cut off. They want to be those that go under the altar. They want to be martyrs for the testimony of Jesus Christ. That's how strongly they feel. But there are others that I've talked to that said they're going to resist this evil. And they're going to match it. And they're going to live by the sword. They're going to take a stand. They're going to draw a line. And them and those around them are going to live by the sword. All God's saying here is it's okay to do either one during this period of time. But make sure that you're in unison with that person you're going through this with. Make sure you've decided and purposed in your heart and mind what you plan on doing. Because that day's coming. Anyway, that's verse 10. And now we switch, right? Verse 11. And I beheld another beast coming up out of the earth. And he had two horns like a lamb, and he spake as a dragon. Again, you'll see that in Daniel chapter 8. And he exercises all the power of the first beast before him, and causes the earth and them that dwell therein to worship the first beast, whose deadly wound was healed. So this beast is giving power and directing worship towards the one that was wounded unto death. And he doth great wonders, so that he maketh fire come down from heaven on the earth in the sight of men. And he deceiveth them that dwell on the earth by the means of those miracles which he had power to do in the sight of the beast. So he's got to be near the beast, and he's able to bring fire down from heaven. He's going to be able to do all these other miracles, saying to them that dwell upon the earth that they should make an image to the beast, which had the wound by a sword and did live. So there's the sword, deadly wound, healed. Putting them all together in this chapter. So they make an image. What's an image? You're watching me as an image. You're not sitting with Sean. You're watching an image give life, right? This device that I use gives life to my image. Why do you think this technology needs to be in everyone's hands? They want these smartphones in everyone's hands. Why do you think every restaurant, and I've been in third world countries, why do you think there are interactive TVs in all places on the earth? Because of this right here, right? That they're going to make an image. And then look at verse 15. And he had power to give life. This second beast had power to give life unto the image of the beast, that the image of the beast should both speak and cause that as many as would not worship the image of the beast should be killed. So it's just like Daniel, right? They passed a law that when you hear the sackbut and the harp and the different musical instruments, that you had to turn towards the golden image and worship. And if not, you would be killed. Satan doesn't have any new tricks. This is what Satan's been doing for thousands of years. He wants you to worship him. If you're in front of a TV or if you have a phone at this time, when this is happening, and somehow, and everyone knows, we know how these devices work. We know how our computers work. We know how our smart TVs work. We know how our smart devices and Apple phones work. We know that it's two-way, that we're watching things and it's watching us. Everyone knows that. That's not conspiracy. That happens. We know that, right? Let's not fool ourselves. I can say something right now and it's going to show up on my wife's phone, what I'm talking about. It's recording. It knows what's being said. But now at this point is if you don't worship at the appointed time, you're going to be killed. Verse 16, and he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads. This is the mark of the beast. This is what everyone talks about. Here it is here. So he causes all. No one's going to escape. There's going to be no island, no place on this earth. There is no place you'll be able to escape this coming tyranny upon the earth. Small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in the right hand or in their foreheads. And it's interesting, it says in, not on. See, if you have another Bible, a lot of them say on. This is in. Now, I'm not saying, this doesn't say microchip. I know they're testing that in places. This just says that there's going to be a mark in their right hand. Somewhere in your right hand. In it. Or in your forehead. In here somewhere. It's interesting that they're putting the city streets they're starting to replace them with black lights. And they can see bioluminescence under the skin. Just throwing it out there. Look it up. All around the country, all around the world. Verse 17. And that no man might buy or sell, save he that had the mark, or the name of the beast, or the number of his name. So there's coming a time when Satan is making war with the saints and prevailing, that you will not be able to buy or sell without this mark. You're here for this, folks. Everyone's here for this. Unless you're martyred by now, you'll be here. If you're saved, you're here for this. You're going to have to resist this mark, and you're not going to be able to buy or sell. No more Amazon. No more Walmart. No more Kohl's. No more Target or Target. No more cruises. No more plane flights. No more vacations. No more fuel. No more cell phones. No more electricity off, if you get it from the grid or propane or gas. No more car insurance. No more homeowners insurance. No more 401ks. You can't buy or sell. No Shaw's. No Costco. No BJ's membership. No man might buy or sell. No one is going to escape this. Save he that had the mark. Unless you take the mark. That's what I tell people. You can take the mark. Know it's going to cost you. It's the mark of the beast. We're going to see later that it's damnation. Verse 18. Here is wisdom. Let him that hath understanding count the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man, and his number is 666. There's people out there trying to change this at the original Greek or Hebrew. They want to change this. I've heard preachers say that it's supposed to be 616 or something like 666. UPC code. Let's see. Back in 72. 2 thin lines at the beginning, 2 thin lines at the middle, 2 thin lines at the end. IBM came up with this, what an ungodly, wicked company, IBM, International Business Machines, sold to Hitler and developed this back in, I think, 72. 666, right? 666. I got my soy sauce. 666. Cleaner. 666. The first 6 turns the computer on. The second 6 allows the computer to read the product, because the first 7 digits deal with the company, and then the last digits, I think it's 6 digits, deal with what the product is. So this is, this is whoever this is that makes this home line thing, right? So these first digits deal with their company, and then these last digits deal with the product that this company makes. And that's how that works. Every company is given those numbers. And you're buying and selling, right? That number is there. It's already there with what you do. And then the computer allows it to read the code, and then the computer shuts off. So 666 is on every product already. We already have the technology, right? This is relatively new technology that the whole world has, and it's around the world. So there's only one thing missing, right? And that is receiving it in your hand, in your forehead. And a lot of people received medication without questioning, just trusted the government. Everything's going to be okay, right? Go ahead and take this medicine. Keep taking this medicine. I think we're going to have to do it a couple times a year. Look up that medicine. Look up nanotechnology. Look at what they're building inside of you. So that's chapter 13. It's all about the beast. He's given 42 months. He's given 3.5 years to make war with the saints and prevail. And at some point during that reign, very soon at the beginning, it seems, that there's another beast that's going to rise up, create an image, and cause all to receive a mark and to worship that beast. Anyway, that's chapter 13. I keep saying, if you're saved, if you're born again, if you've trusted Christ, then you're going to be given the ability to withstand what's coming to an extent. But if you take pleasure in unrighteousness and you believe lies, then your coming years are going to be tough. Don't believe what the media is telling you. This is all a puppet show. What's going on in Ukraine is a puppet show. Some of it looks like it might be fulfilling prophecy. Is Putin not able to even resist? Does he have a hook in his jaw, and is he being pulled through? That could very well be. I know more than that. I know, and I know if you study finance, there can't be one country over another. All the nations have to worship the beast. What is happening today around the world is, and I've been saying it for a couple of years now, is they have to destroy the US dollar and bring it into the IMF and the World Economic Forum. What is going on is going to destroy our way of life, without a doubt. That's the war. America, that's why we went into Libya. That's why we went into Venezuela. That's why we went into Iraq. That's why our president this weekend called for the removal of President Putin, because he's threatening the dominance of the US dollar. That's why we went in with Saddam Hussein. There was no weapons of mass destruction. He was going to sell oil in euros. We can't have that. It would destroy our economy. Libya and Gaddafi. I mean, Hillary Clinton said, we went in and we killed them because they were going to destroy our dollar. Venezuela. They're going to accept Bitcoin and gold for their oil. We had to destroy them. And now we're going back and begging these people. It'll be very interesting to see. Saudi Arabia is talking with China right now to accept the yuan for oil, which would be the last nail in the coffin for American dollar. And then President Putin said they have until Friday, that all of Europe has to use, all unfriendly nations need to use gold or the ruble to buy their commodities. And Europe goes, you can't violate that contract. It's war. We declared war on Putin. We don't have any business in Ukraine. Ukraine and Zelensky was appointed by a color revolution. Go back and look in 2014 what President Obama did. The leader before Zelensky was elected by the people. Okay, Zelensky's not a good man, folks. It's atrocious what's happening. But understand the Russian people. Someone told me this the other day. World War II, 30 million Russians spilled their blood in Ukraine. 30 million folks. That's 10% of the U.S. population right now. And Russia thought that was a great victory, and that price was sufficient in Ukraine. 30 million. Let that sink in and go look at your history. 60 million people died in Russia. That's what communists are willing to do. They spilled 30 million soldiers' blood in that country before. And if you don't think they're willing to do this and you think this is all going to be wrapped up in a couple weeks, you need to study your history about what those people are about. And we need to understand that we did this to ourselves, but it's all a puppet theater. It's all coming to an end. We're a year and a half in. Starting this September, you're already hearing it, if it's manufactured or not. I don't know if it's a grand solar minimum manufactured. It's Satan making war with the earth and the people of the earth, but there is going to be famine starting in September. And hyperinflation's coming. And that will be a year. Starts in September. It may not be in America. It's going to start in Africa, and it's going to start in the Middle East. And they're not going to have any food. And then it's going to spill over to the rest of the world. Study your history. Don't be fooled by what's going on. Read your Bible. Understand that this is Satan's time. God has allowed Satan to make war with the saints and prevail. This is his time. Stick to the timetable. Look at the 7 seals. Look at what the trumpets are. We're still in the second trumpet. We're still in the second seal. 12,000 earthquakes in the Azores. They're evacuating the islands, which is a little north and into the ocean more from La Palma. 12,000 earthquakes the other day. They're evacuating because there's going to be a big volcano. Another volcano over there that's going to go into the sea, right? So that trumpet is dealing with volcanoes. It appears, right? Mountains of fire, fish being destroyed, and the ships being destroyed. And then the second seal is communism and the sword and men killing men. And so just, what's coming. I don't worry about it. I know starting in the fall, food's going to become real expensive. It's not bad right now compared to what's coming. Garden, plant some potatoes, plant some corn, plant some wheat. Learn to garden, grow some calories, learn how to seal and protect it and preserve it. There's coming a time very soon, within 2 years, you're not going to be able to buy or sell without the mark of the beast. We still have a couple years past that until the blessed hope. That's what I have for you. That's Revelation. I don't have a lot of knowledge, but I spoke a lot about nothing, I guess. But hopefully that helps you. Look at that chapter. Look at Daniel. Look at Ezekiel. You'll understand the bear. Go look up the beast and the lion that were given by the Angeles in Mexico. Peace and safety. That's in front of the UN. It's foreshadowing what's coming. Until next time, take care. We're going to look at the fall of Babylon next.